Last season, MTN News's documentary team followed the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Football Club as they sealed a thrilling promotion in the Surrey South Eastern Combination League.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Since then, things haven't gone to plan. Knocked out of all the cups and on a losing streak in the league, manager Shazil Lone is feeling the pressure.
It's been disappointing for sure, and it's having that pride for the badge. The last thing you want to do is lose game after game.
However, the youths have been offered a lifeline. Their players have entered an international tournament, giving Shazil and the boys one last chance to win something this season. But as competition for a place in the team intensifies, Shazil can't keep everyone happy.
It did kind of hit me a bit. I thought, you know, there's no mercy in it here.
This is the story of the European tournament.
Thank you for flying the Turkish Airlines, Samambro.
Allahu Akbar, Allah.
Last year, 20-year-old goalkeeper Umar had the season of his life. He played a key role in the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Football Club's promotion, and more importantly, he visited the Islamic holy sites at Mecca and Medina. This season has proven more of a challenge.
At that particular incident, the goalkeeper should have been off his line to get that ball, but he stood there waiting for it, and that was a mistake.
The first couple of games didn't go very well for us. Then I got injured, was out for a couple of months, had my X-ray, had my MRI, and doctor said, you know, I just needed a bit of physio because there's a little tear in there. But when I came back, you know, it wasn't all the, you know, not back into the first team, you know.
With the league campaign hopeless, the club is now preparing for the upcoming European tournament. Shazil Lone has been asked to manage a team representing the UK's Ahmadi Muslims and has invited Umar to trials.
Confident, inshallah, hopefully I can get into the team. I mean, I just saw a save, so maybe I'm under pressure now. See what I mean?
I gave my trial, but then I got the text message from the reserves manager, Haris Butt, and I just see it says, you've been selected to represent UKB, and it did kind of hit me a bit. I thought, you know, maybe for this one they would maybe allow me and go back in the A team, you know, get me back into the groove and play with the guys. But you know, it seemed like there's no mercy in it here. You gotta go all the way down.
Having to come back, not just from the injury, but to get match fit again, I think he was maybe 2 to 3 weeks away from getting that fitness.
With Umar unceremoniously dropped into the B team, those who've made the A squad feel this tournament can turn their season around.
We haven't performed to the level that we know we can perform. That's affected our season. Going into this tournament, off the back of a few bad results, it was just about getting back the belief.
Only days until London hosts teams from around Europe, the tournament organisers suddenly face disaster.
The Beast from the East is a nickname for very, very cold air seeping its way in from the eastern side.
Met Office has issued the highest level of weather warning. That's a red severe weather warning for snow.
A red warning means that there is a likely risk to lives.
I personally didn't think it was going to be on just because of the location of where the games were meant to be held. So they were meant to be held on grass pitches.
We were told, you know, that there's a 95% chance that they won't go ahead.
I was actually asked by one of the committee members, listen, I think the solution is, why don't you just ask Azur? He'll give us guidance. And I was kind of a bit reluctant, you know, this was a bit kind of daring and just a kind of last minute thing. I thought not a ball would have been kicked, and I thought Azur would have said, tell them not to come. So that particular evening, after the suggestion was made, I actually did, let's say, pop down in a normal mulaqat day, you know, and I went to the private secretary. I said, if there's any chance, can I get in at the very, very end to see Hazur? If not, no problem. So I just kind of hung around, and at the very end says, Nassar Orchard. I said, brilliant. What he dashed in, okay. Sat down and talked to Azur about our possible fears and concerns, but he completely extinguished them immediately by saying, Unka Anado, just let them come anyway, okay? It literally was that. He says, let them come. I said to Azur, we're going to have the bad weather till Friday. He says, no, the bad weather is going to be till Saturday, you see. But maybe in between you'll be able to play some football, okay? And you can all get together, make new friends, and you can stay in the mosque together. The rest of the committee members, they had a lot of comfort when they heard this as well.
The local council say the grass pitches that had been booked are unplayable. So Nassar Orchard Sahib's organising team makes some last-minute calls to secure an alternative. But the artificial pitches they book have their own weather problems.
There was no pitch, it was just a blanket of snow. And we were thinking, well, what's going to happen now? Because just by looking at the pictures, it didn't look playable.
Despite some early scares, as the snow clears through the day, Shazil's UK boys hit their stride and see off teams from Holland, Sweden and Germany to comfortably reach the semi-finals.
Well done, hey, that's it. That's it.
As MTA News followed the team last year, we saw winger Ibrahim's special meeting with the global head and caliph of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah be his helper.
Straight away he asked me, and are you married yet? I said, no, Huzur, not yet. Have you found a rishta? I said, no, not yet, Huzur. Please pray for my rishta so I can get married soon.
Ibrahim went on to score the goals that sealed the youth's promotion during the 2016-2017 campaign. However, he's been asked to represent his college, Jamia UK, at the European tournament and will now line up against his former teammates.
It was strange because you play a weekly basis every week with your colleagues in the UK first team. So it was really challenging.
Meanwhile, the last-minute cancellation of the original pitches has actually worked in the organisers' favour.
The snow was a blessing for us, okay? Because all the other, let's say, teams and other associations, they cancelled their weekends, you see, of football events and tournaments that left us more or less, we were spoilt for choice. We had taken that venue, this venue and so forth. The final was actually the home of Carshalton Football Club. It was the response of our guests and our own local people. They said they've never ever had such a local Jamaat football competition under such quality pitches.
With the semi-finals underway, Ibrahim's Jamia team employ a distinctive strategy.
We decided to defend as a unit, play really defensive and play on the counter-attack.
Their game plan was to put 10 or 11 men behind the ball.
The game was just played in their half. If you were to look at a heat map, there won't be any heat in our half.
It's like a Man City Stoke type of affair. We had 80–90+% possession. But it was always hard to break down the side that one knows you very well, and secondly has, they were well organised and they had that grit that they did want to win the game, and Ibi was a threat for them.
I think they felt a bit of pressure to win the match, and everyone was expecting them to beat us by a lot of goals easily.
I didn't want it to go to penalties because I said it's anyone's game when it goes to penalties. It's just pot luck then, isn't it? So as the game drew closer to the final whistle, there was a bit of panic setting in to say, look, if we don't score now, we could be out at our first real test. That's when it first showed on the players' faces.
Despite an early scare, heroics by goalkeeper Zerdusht secure a place in the final where a familiar face awaits.
We were all pumped up to play the UK A team because that was the whole aim, you know, to get the UK A team into the final and then play them and win it.
The UK's B team have already seen off opponents from Belgium and Germany. At the end of a terrible season, publicly losing to his own reserves would be the last straw for Shazil.
We didn't want to lose in the final, let alone to our B team.
You do feel pressure. We have, you know, a reserve team as well, and they're managers of those sides as well, who I'm sure would want to do the top job as well.
The B team were going to be up for it more than our boys, just because they've got a point to prove. They've got a very young, energetic, enthusiastic team. So I knew that this game was, you know, by far the hardest game we were going to play in the tournament.
But as the crowds build, it's Umar who's left embarrassed.
Unfortunately for Umar, he gifted us an opener with a misplaced pass.
I think I let the team down big time. I actually felt very, very down. I thought, you know, a mistake again, you know, because you really don't want to make a mistake at this big final, you know, at this big stage, at this big tournament, in front of so many people, and, you know, letting your team down with this important match.
1-0 down at half-time, Umar's B team have not lost hope.
We told ourselves this is the only game, this is the game where we need to prove to ourselves, to the A team members, and to the crowd that we are not just the B team, we're not just here to take part, but we're here to win the game.
I think the team expected that the lead would then see the B team perhaps become a little bit desperate, perhaps crumble, not be able to get that goal. They came out with even more intensity than they had in the first half.
We didn't close down the player on the ball quick enough. It was Atar on the ball.
Atar pings the ball over. At that moment, I was so relieved that we at least scored the goal, and, you know, everyone had the belief that this is the time we can probably do it.
That goal, it was well deserved by the B team, but again, it didn't really wake us up. There wasn't a change in intensity, in focus, and our football didn't really get any better.
Perhaps played on their mind as well, that little added pressure that they wouldn't want to be the squad that loses to the B side.
So it was just, I don't want to say damage limitation, but it was just, you know, just make sure that we don't concede again.
I was more looking to try and get us a goal, to take it in game time as opposed to go to penalties, because again, that would have been a bigger lottery, especially with Umar in goal.
But it does come down to penalties, and UKB just won't miss. Sudden death arrives. With UKB having finally missed, only a save from Umar can prevent a UKA victory.
I do put it down to myself that, you know, there is a reason why we lost, and that's maybe because of me, pretty much because of me.
From what our fears were to begin with and what we ended up, we were really blessed, you know, by Hazur's prayers.
It was only the prayers of Hazur and his guidance, and obviously the Allah Almighty's will that this tournament would happen. and it did go ahead under what was miraculous circumstances.
मैं जाऊं तेरे वारी कर तू मदद हमारी हम तेरे दर पे आए लेकर उम्मीद बारी ये रोज़ कर मुबारक सुबहान मैया रानी ये रोज़ कर मुबारक सुबहान मैया रानी